Hello everyone, we've come back to the brilliant facility at RelyOnNutec in Liverpool. Delighted to be back here to be able to do the demonstrations on the ACE powered ascenders. Real quick, we're going to do a real quick overview on the devices first of all. As you can see here, ASAT make two different devices. The ACE22 is the smaller one, and the ACE24 is the big one. So the main difference between them is the working load limits and the battery capacities. And we'll do a deep dive into that later on, but the ACE22 has a maximum rated load of 180 kilos. So that's more for personal use, but you can use it for rescue. And then the ACE24 has got a maximum rated load of 260 kilos, so we call that rescue rigging device. But now, just quickly want to show you how they actually come, because the presentation and the carry cases on these are pretty good. For the ACE24, we've got this big flight case, strong, sturdy, can be thrown about in the back of a van. Total weight for the kit is around 20-22 kilos. With the ACE22, we've got a little bit smaller, more compact carry case, and it's got shoulder straps as well, as you can see there. And total weight for that's around 12 kilos. With each kit, every kit always comes complete with two batteries. Plus, of course, you've got the chargers as well, which are these. These are super fast chargers, so they'll charge a battery from empty within an hour, less than an hour. So you've got that one. Same again on the ACE24. And then the other thing you've got as well within the kits is the remote controls. So that's the remote control for the ACE24. That's battery operated. And then the remote control for the ACE22 is rechargeable. Okay, so let's take you through some of the external features of these devices. You can see that they're fairly similar, although the ACE22 is the more recent version, so there's a couple of features on this one that are different. But generally speaking, they're fairly similar. We'll look at the rope retention part of it later on. We can see they're actually quite similar. Obviously that's a connection point that we connect into a harness or to a rigging point, and again they're fairly similar. And both of them have the emergency stop buttons, which you can see there and there. So if we look at this, the cool thing I like about this device is that it's bi-directional, and we'll see that when we fit in the rope, but also you can see that we've got the throttle control here, and you can push it either way, and that means you've got the way that's set up is that it's bi-directional for the rope. Some of the other features we've got, as I turn this around, we've got this silver button here is PTT, which is press to talk, so that's part of the communication system, which again we'll look at later on. And this big silver button here is your emergency down. So should you have battery failure or complete electric failure, you can still descend down should everything else fail. This one's got one too, but it's a little bit different in that you've got to unscrew this cap to be able to get to the lever there. Turning around a bit more, so on here, so this is where the battery lock is. Each device has got two separate locks for the battery. So the first locking mechanism is this one here. I press down on that. I can't get the battery out, and that's because it's locked in here too. So you can see we've got lock and unlock here, and this is really just so that I believe there was an incident some time ago where a battery was released inadvertently and it caused a bit of an accident. So we've just created this second lock. So just push down on the button, lift that up, so that's now in the unlock position, and now I can take the battery out. That's your battery for the ACE22. And then just to slide it in, as you can see there, it just slides in really, really easily. Clicks into place. And then as I push that around again, and we've got the on-off button. So So we can now see that you've got the battery indicator lights. Each light indicates 25% reserve, so we're fully charged there. And should we push the emergency stop, you can see that's what happens. Okay, so quick look at the ACE24. Switching it on, same again, master switch, and each of the battery indicator lights indicates 25%. And again, if we press the emergency stop, that shuts it off, and we can restart just by pulling that out again. So now with the battery on this one, a little bit different to the ACE22. We do still have a secondary safety catch, but it's that one there. And then to get the battery out, we just got to push down on these two levers whilst pulling it out. Okay, so that slides out. That's the ACE24 battery. You can see it's a little bit bigger than the ACE22 battery, but it's more powerful. And then to slide it back in again, just do that, and then give it a good push to get it in. Okay, so now we'll have a look at the wheel and the rope retention parts. Lots of really good engineering in here. All these parts here are stainless steel, and they're also replaceable wear parts. First thing to look at is the locking mechanism for the rope. So you'll see here you've got a little clasp, and I can't undo that because I've got to press down on the button. So we've got again, just like the batteries, we've got a secondary safety system involved. So if I press down on the button, now I can open the clasp, and you can see that what this does, this creates a little bit of tension on the rope to push it into the V-groove to create that extra grip. Now if we look at the wheel, this is the engineering part that I really like the best. What we got here is you've got a V-groove in the wheel, and you've also got these soft ribs, and the ribs are offset across the wheel, across the circumference of the wheel. And that basically means that once you put the rope in, not only does this push the rope into the V-groove, but the ribs, the offset ribs, also create like an S pattern for the rope inside the wheel, which creates even more grip. But the ribs being soft don't damage the rope. So you've got a really good combination of really good grip and very little damage to the rope, which is really good, obviously. So let's show you how to put the rope in. Dead easy. The best way to do it is to take a bite of rope, and this is 11mm rope, by the way. You've got to use 11mm rope with both of these devices. So the best way to do it is we push down on the locking lever and then push the rope through like that, and just feed the rope into the wheel. Give it a little bit of a pull to secure it in, and you can see now that that locking lever separates the two pieces of rope. And then let's lock it into place. Okay, and you can see that by tightening that up, it pushes now the rope into the V-groove. And the other great thing about this is the cam mechanism here will actually feed the rope in and out, even if it doesn't have any load on it. So you can see that now. And that demonstrates the other really cool thing about this is that it's bi-directional. Some other devices are unidirectional, so you've got to be careful about which way you put the rope in. With this one, you can put the rope in any way, it doesn't matter, because when you play with the throttle, as long as you work out which way you're going, then it can work in either direction. And you'll hear as well from the way the motor works, I can actually get this to really go really quite slowly. So it's what we call feathering the throttle. Maximum speed on this is 30 meters per minute, but you can actually get it to go quite slowly. And you get even more control the more load you put on it. So what you can see here is there is a natural gap between the tensioned rope and the carry handle on the device. And that's one of the things that we often get asked is, in this type of a hanging application, maybe off a tripod or a davit arm for confined space applications, would the rope run against the handle and create some sort of sharp edge or damage to the rope? And you can clearly see that's not the case. So what we've done here, as I say, just hang it off an anchor point. This would maybe typically be used off a tripod or a davit arm for confined space applications. We've got 80 kilos of load suspended to represent roughly a normal human body weight. And again, we're just going to run it up and down a couple of times just so you can see the amount of control that we have on this. So it's down, going up. Makes a little bit of noise, but don't worry about that. You can go quite quickly, or you can go really slowly. And that's important if you're doing something like a cliff rescue, a quarry face rescue with a stretcher. You want to be able to go really slowly so you can walk up with a stretcher. And again, coming down, you've got lots of control. So when this thing's loaded heavily with a lot of weight, you get a lot of control over it. Okay, so just a final setup. Again, is off a hanging anchor point, but we've just added a little bit of mechanical advantage, and you can add in as much mechanical advantage as you want. For example, if you want to use a device to lift and lower panes of glass, for example, for facade repair, you can do that. And it's exactly the same ascending and descending technique. Again, on the ascent, plenty of being able to adjust it really easily. And on the descent, we lose a little bit of the feathering because we've got mechanical advantage built in. Okay, so now you can see that we've put the ACE22 onto a piece of rope, and we're just going to really quickly demonstrate and show how it goes up and down, and then we can feather the throttle. Just got a 20 kilo load on there just to keep everything taut. It's switched on, as you can see. Still got plenty of battery in there. And again, we were talking earlier on about it being bi-directional. Doesn't matter which way I put the rope in. Obviously, with the throttle, you've got to work out which way is up and down. But once you've done that, then it's really easy to use. So again, nice ergonomic hand position, and I can give it a try. So I can go quite quickly, or I can go slowly. Right, and I'll come down the same. Now, when you're working upwards, you can always feather the throttle. When you're coming down, you need to have more load to be able to feather the throttle. And you can hear some clunky stuff going on. That's quite normal. It's the way the internal relays are set up. Yes, it's different to other devices in the marketplace, but to me it's just something you get used to. And there is a very, very small delay, particularly on the down. So that's that device. Now we'll set it up with the 24. Okay, so we've come over to set it up more in a rescue type application. We set up the device from a rigging point up through a high directional pulley, and we're using the mannequin of 120 kilos in this case. But of course it could represent casualty, stretcher and rescuer. Because don't forget, this device with its 260 kilo max rated load is perfect for rescue. So again, got it all set up, and all we're going to do is just go up and down a little bit, and you can see how we can feather the throttle to get really good control. So we're just going to lift a little bit, quite slowly right now, which is good if you're in a rescue situation, or we can go quite quickly with it. And then come down. And then we can just take over with the remote control. So this is a very simple remote control. There's no communications with this device. And again, it's just up and down, fast or slow. Okay, so let's have a quick look now at the emergency descent. We've got the mannequin hanging at the moment. So the first thing to do is we've obviously got to switch everything off to represent a power failure. So it's completely off now. And then unscrew the cover. And you can see the lever there. So we've just got to push the lever. That position's probably not the best. Easier to do it that way. But just you can see how we can create a descent just by using the thumb lever. Okay, so just another really simple demonstration using the ACE24 and the remote control unit. Again, 120 kilo mannequin, and we're just going to do a little bit up and down to demonstrate the level of control you got with a remote. So we're going to do a slow lift, gives you a really good level of control, and then transfer to a fast lift. And then we're going to do a slow descent, which again gives you a really good level of control, and then a fast descent.